these are my colleagues, Halima.
You can't hear? You can't see our voice, so you can't hear our voice.
Once more, my name is Linda. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. And all protocols to be observed. My name is Linda. I'm the branch manager of Wema Bank International Assembly. These are my colleagues, Halima, Bethel, Jerry, Uju, and Oprah. So we are here in respect of this very honorable as he said earlier, we are here to partner with the organization to see in any way we can come in to be able to support your business. We know that the business area is very rough these days, and getting any kind of business requires a whole lot from different places. So in any way we can as a bank, we want to be able to partner with you, bring in our expertise in any way that you need it, and also support you to grow higher. As for my discussion with the chairman, I think aside the normal account opening and all that I'm sure everybody already knows, he was more specific on the facilities or the loans we can avail members. So we have several loans actually. The bank is actually very tailored now to ensure that we meet up in this line of business. So we have several products, but for want of time, not to bore you or not to give you too much information at once, I'll just list them, tell you what their requirements are. These requirements, however, is not cast on iron. It means that you can still negotiate or work on things that maybe some of you may not have. So because also have a window for exceptional approvals. So whatever it is that the customer may or may not have, if you profile the customer and see the customer has the capacity and is also sincere enough to be able to take this facility, we can work around it. So I'll just list like 3 or 4 of them that I think maybe are the front burner. But as I said earlier, whatever the customer wants, provided we can meet up the risk requirements, we can always look at it and seek exceptional approvals on different things. So we look at the BSF loan. The BSF loan is mainly just the normal retail loan that most banks already do. So our loan is between 5 to 20 million for those in that cadre. But we always start with 5 million so that we can see the capacity of the person or the business, and then we'll take it off from there. But we can avail it between 5 to 20 million. The rate is set at 36%. But when we say 36, not to say it's per annum, not per month, the way most maybe all these microfinance or other finance houses do. 36% is per annum. So if you divide it now, it comes back to about 3% monthly. So it's actually per annum, not monthly. The tenure is usually for 12 months, and then you can pay an installment. You can also pay on reducing balance, meaning that you pay as you're paying, maybe you pay 100,000 this month. By the time you're on the 6th or 7th month, you're paying maybe 60 or 50,000, depending on how the loan calculator goes. So you can pay on reducing balance. Not that you must pay all at once for that. For contract finance, I think the other requirements there may be one other thing else, and I'm just trying to focus on the pricing, the tenor, and the amount, because that's really the major questions most people want to know, so that they know if they want to access it or not. Then for contract finance, some of you have contracts that you want to execute in line with this business. Now for contract finance, we can do it for up to 3 years. And then the rate is also 36%. But as I say, always remember 36% is per annum, not monthly. So we'll bring it down to like 3% monthly, that was the rate. For contract finance, we are not paid an amount. Unlike the BSF loan that maximum is 20. This one, there's no pay. Because contract amount varies. You may have a contract of 200 million, you may have a contract of 50 million. So it all depends on what your contract is. But whatever it is that your contract is, the bank will do 70%. The customer does 30%. The purpose of that 30% equity contribution is to see that the customer has interest or has something at stake in the business. If you really believe that this contract you're about to do is worth it, The bank expects put your own money too, so that will that 30%, put in your own money, then the bank will back you up with 70% of the money for that contract finance. And then you can run it for 2 years, as I said, for that. Then for asset finance, people need some need vehicles, some need the equipment that they use to do the whole water production. Different kinds of equipment that you need. The bank is also open to buying those equipment for you. Now for asset finance, it has to be brand new products. We won't buy, the bank will not do any second hand or any refurbished product. The idea is so that we can ensure that if there's any problem, the bank can hold the manufacturer directly. So it has to be brand new products for asset finance. Now for asset finance, you can run it up to 3 years. And then you still have to do the 30%, 70% thing, the 30-70 thing. Because 30% is still the rationale of you. If you want to buy this car for your business, or this vehicle, or this equipment, and you believe in it seriously, and you are sure that this thing is for business purpose, and it will yield results, then put in your own 30%, let your stake be there too. So that if it runs down, you know that you are also having your own stake to make it run down. But if it grows, you know that you want to put in your own stake. So we also do for asset finance 30-70%. Most of the loans now are at 6%, but as I said, always remember that 50% is not monthly, it's per annum. So we do a lot of things for asset finance. It could be vehicles, it could be equipment, high-power equipment, it could be refrigerators, it could not be any kind of equipment that you need to be able to push your business forward. But it has to be brand new, as I said. We also have the part for under this contract finance for importation, because some of these equipments are not made here. So for the import leg, we will still look at it and we can see what we do. Just as maybe a few dynamics will change, because now we're talking about foreign currency, whether in dollars, pounds, euro, depending on the exchange rate. So but whatever it is, that exchange import finance part can still also work in line with the contract finance tools. I mean, the import leg comes in line with the meeting of the contract finance. Then we also have the green energy loan. This green energy has a lot to do with solar, because we get a lot of people now are trying to diversify with the high cost of electricity at the moment. So for solar, some people need solar to power their equipment, power their vehicles, power whatever they need, all in line with this business. The bank is also open. So we have a specific product paper for this particularly. So those who are going to fall under this green energy product, I think actually have one of the most seamless loans, because there's a specific product paper carved out of all this retail loan, asset finance, contract finance. So this is carved out especially for those under that green energy. So I think it's something that most banks are yet to key into it, but whoever bank has already done so. So I think it's actually a good aspect for those who are looking at that green energy loan. We focus on that in two categories, either green for household, for businesses, or for big multinationals. Big organizations, those fall under like those big organizations, maybe Cadbury, ECOWAS, just very large multinational organizations that fall under that. But for household, as a household green energy, we can do. Business related green energy, we can also do. Payment is due between 2 to 3 years, that's the tenure of the loan. We'll be able to give you 5-year warranty on the item. So it means that if you purchase, let me just say you do the solar as an example for your business premises, and the solar helps to power your equipment in the production of your water. Anything that happens to that equipment within the period of 5 years, the bank will fix it for you free of charge. Within that first 5 years. And also remember, the equipment has to be brand new. So on your performance invoice, you provide the performance invoice, it's going to be your company name, let's say ABC Nigeria Limited, just an example, /webmap. At the expiration of paying your loan, when you pay it down, you now issue another invoice, taking out the bank now, so that it's totally yours, and that means you're setting the bank and everything is gone. But in all this tenor I'm saying, I'm just trying to tell you the maximum tenor you can achieve. But there are some people who say they don't like loan, so I just took this one for just this purpose. In 6 months' time, if you're able to get your money, maybe from that business or any restaurant that you want to clean out, you can clean out. It is not mandatory that you must stay for that 5 years or 2 years as the case may be. You can clean out. And then the beauty of cleaning out also is that your loan interest stops at the point in which you clean out. It's not because we say it's 35% for example per annum, and then let's say an example your interest is 100,000. Just give an example. And that's supposed to stretch for 2 years. The fact that you are going to pay down in 7 months, 8 months, 1 year and a half, 13 months, you will stop there. That's where you can pay the interest and pay it at that point. The remaining months that they are remaining, even though the actual offer letter or your request was for 2 years, wherever it stops is where your interest is stopped. So we're not going to charge you for the other months that you have paid down your loan already. So I think that's just the basic highlights that we have. As I said, these terms are not cast on iron. We are very flexible. You can look at things on a case-by-case basis, profile them. Some of these loans may be for higher amounts. When you're talking about the 100 million, 200 million, sometimes they may need for collateral, sometimes they may not. So it all depends on the customer's capacity and what we profile the customer. You see, the customer has that capacity, why not? And when we look at the customer's business, but we don't expect a startup, somebody just starting maybe with one small machine that does not cost more than maybe 3-4 million. I'm just giving an example, asking for a 500 million facility. The fee doesn't balance out. And then even if you don't have an account with us, you can get statements from another bank, your business statement, not your personal account. For those who have enterprises, sole enterprises of companies, that you may look at your personal account because by law, any sole enterprise is the same as the individual who owns it. They are seen as one person. So your company as a sole enterprise and you as a person can relate as one. You can see it as one body. In that case, you can work with your personal statement. However, for those with limited liability, anywhere is already different from the individual. So you are a different entity totally. So that's why we can't link it with their personal account. Let's do that thing. But by and large, you can deal with your statement from another bank. We just have to emphasize on the fact that I have not mentioned any facilities that ties to you or your business does not mean that representative cannot look at it and work around it. The idea is not for us to bring your business down on your focus. The idea is for you to be able to do your business, pay seamlessly, and also keep your profit. Because there's no point for you to take a bank with a loan and take a bank from the bank, and all your interest is being used, all your profit is being used to pay interest. It doesn't make any sense. So we also look at this, as I said, look at your statements, look at your business so far. For startups, may be a little difficult, that I can say, because the idea that by law, you are supposed to have your business at least, this by law, CBN regulation, at least 1 year. Because the bank also understands that every business normally must face its challenges at the first 1 year. It's almost normal. Every business, whether it's that hotel business or the smallest shoemaker's business, for the first 1 year you start a business, it is natural to have some few challenges that you would adjust on this, change this, try this one. It's normal. So within that trial and error stage, remember that the money that the bank is giving is somebody else's money. The investors and the depositors' money. So when we give it to you as a loan, the idea is not for you to come back and discuss. The person's money that we are giving to you now, you have to decide explaining where it's coming from. So most banks, I think this is actually a simple regulation. You must run your business for at least 1 year. If in 1 year it's expected that you would have faced or challenged all those issues, it won't be 100%, but most of it would have come to light already to see what the issues are, and then you can take it up from there. So please, once again, I said, I don't want to take too much of the time because I know this is your meeting, but not ours. So I'm just here on behalf of the Donald Bank, and this is my team from the National Assembly. That's where the branch is. But I know the National Assembly sometimes you say, you can't access it. We understand that you can always come out to make it too. Or we can always find a way to come in. It doesn't necessarily matter. We know National Assembly generally, not everybody can just drive and drive. But that also can also be sorted. Or we can also liaise with another branch. If you need somebody to have that thing with you regularly. But that doesn't mean we are available. The bottom line. We're just a call away. So we make ourselves available. So once more, I want to thank you for the opportunity that given to us. Let you know that we're here to support your business in any way that we can. We're here to give you all the kind of partnerships that we can do. Whatever it is that is not listed product paper can still be discussed. And we have a window for exceptional approval. So when we profile you on a case by case basis, we can now deal and take it up from there. Support you. We want to see your business grow. We can be happy to see Wema Bank was part of this success journey. So I think apart from that, basically, I think basically, I don't know if you have any questions or things you want to ask, but we're still behind anyway. We're still supposed to be behind. I'll still drop my number so that in case you want to reach us.
Thank you. We want to see how we can manage the question. So I want to make it so brief so that it will not be too long. So you have a question, ma'am?
Was I have one or two questions. We talked about collateral or security. What type is required? And according to the size of the loan, right? What is the application process? And how long does it take for approval? And then are there any fees associated with the loan, such as origination fees or late payment fees? And finally, are there any additional benefits or services offered with the loan, such as financial advisory or business support? Thank you so much.
Yes, can we take other questions? You note them down. Note the question down while we just take them.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for your presentation. Okay, for the energy loan and access finance, when it has to do with the body that are coming to do the work or the material that we are getting, is it also is the bank responsible for it, or we are the one to go and source for people to do the work? Or the bank responsible for everything? Since you said you have to interact with the manufacturers if the equipment have problem. Thank you.
Any other one here? For my left hand, any question? Okay, let me have this question to my head. I don't know if there is this type of loan facility will probably existing. We have the developers loan. Developers loan have to do with you have a land in a business area. You know, probably in Lagos, people will develop, a plaza for you, and they will take charge for a certain number of years. They will give you probably one place or two places for you to have. While you take that number, you cover the loan for a certain number. Do you have that in Wema Bank? That's the question. If that exists. A question there? Is there any question again? So, we have only 3 questions.
Thank you very much for this question. So I'll just give the answers as I can, and my colleagues are here. If there's anything I need to add or maybe I forgot or something, we can add it in. So, Mommy, your question, you asked about collateral, the type of collateral. Most times, I would say it depends now on the amount. So when you're doing like 100 million and above, most often than not, you ask for collateral. And this collateral is usually legal mortgage, which means landed property. So, and that should have a sort of action, a title document. There are a few cases we work with an RFO, but most times we have a CFO. However, we also understand that a CFO in Nigeria or FCT is not that easy to get. I have a customer who's been running for like over 6 months. He has applied, he has done everything, and the CFO is still not out. So in cases like that, it's a good example now that we can take on a case-by-case basis. Now we go beyond just your collateral now. So let me give an example. You're asking for 200 million, 300 million, and you do not have legal mortgage, or you have a landed property, but you do not have CFO. Whatever documents we have, we do our own verification on the back end to be sure that it actually belongs to you and it's not encumbered. Because we have people who have used the same property to collect loans from 10 different places. So So when we do all those cross check at the back end and confirm that the property is not encumbered, and we check your capacity, which now comes back to your visiting your business environment and also checking out your system. If you see that you have the capacity for that, you can really work. I won't say without a collateral, or maybe without a perfected collateral, as the case may be, but this still has to be profiled on a case-by-case basis. For those buying equipment, even if the equipment is 500 million or 1 billion, we don't require any extra collateral. That equipment becomes a collateral. So if you're buying maybe a manufacturing plant or that is worth 500 million, just an example also, we don't need you to give us any landed property. That equipment has automatically become so that if you default, the aim of collateral is for us when the customer defaults or when anything happens that the customer cannot pay, we want to get our money back. That's the aim of the collateral at the end of the day. But as banks will always say, we are not in the business of buying and selling of land, or buying and selling of property, or buying and selling of your equipment. We want you to be able to succeed and do the business. So the equipment becomes the collateral. In instances where the amount from 100 million and above, and you are doing access finance. That's why I said the invoice will be your company name / remember. If you default, and defaulting has to be for 3 months consecutively, month 1, month 2, month 3, on your own, if you are able to meet up. But please, we know that business has issues here and there. The economy, so many issues that are beyond you. Please, as a business person, if you succeed, maybe after a month or getting to 2 months, you have seen that your business is not going the way you are projecting for 1 or 2 reasons. Please try and engage. Sure, this is not just for Wema Bank, for any other bank you have. Try to get back to your bank and your account. They can always restructure the loan. It's better you go and say, I can't meet up with this thing. Restructure the loan for me. Then they can now give it and give you either extra time or anything else. Than for you to sit down and then, because once it's 3 months, it has been qualified as a bad loan. Sorry, I'm diverting a bit. It's qualified as a bad loan, and now with the way CBN has done it, every single loan, even if it's 1 naira, has to go in a particular portal that all the banks are on that same platform. So it's almost facing now the days of using one collateral for different things. Let me not go too far. So for collateral, I said, I don't think I'll answer that particular question. Okay. For the process, all things being equal, once we have all the documents in place, it shouldn't be more than a week for us to start and end. Most times when the documents are coming in triple, then it seems as if it's taking so long. But the documents are in place, you can start from the beginning of the whole loan, checking of the collateral, perfecting it, for checking your business environment, all the things that we need to do. Plus minus, it could be earlier, but I'll say a week to be on the safe side. When all the documentation is complete. Then the fees remains the same. We talk about the fees. The fees remains the same, but we don't have, we only charge 1% processing fee, and that's all. We are not charging, but some banks will charge you 1% processing, 1% legal, 1% agency. No, it's just 1%. So all the fees are all tied together as 1%. That will be paid at the beginning of the facility. So for fees, if you have 1%, they debit you that first. Once they are dropping the loan into your account, they say you see 1%, and that's all. You're not paying it. They give the loan for 3 years, and you're not paying another 1% next year. It's just 1%. And for the kind of benefits, you say other extra benefits. When we are your disposal. For financial advice, that's what you can, you're covered 100%. But I said, any other thing else you need that's related to banking, we look at it. There's not, we won't say we cannot do, because any business will be different. So we're open to any kind of other benefits that you feel we can. And because I said, we are here to support you mainly. Then, I spoke about the green energy for workers and labor. Unfortunately, I would say the bank could only use mainly for that asset finance for green energy on that main equipment that we are purchasing. Your workers will be taken care by you. Your other things, maybe other things you need to get the job done. Let me say, sand, water installation. Those things are factors, I say, around getting that internet. So, unfortunately, our main thing that we do is to deal with the actual items. So, if the solar plant that we want, that's what we do. Other installations have to be sorted out by you. For real estate, we talk about building and developers know unfortunately, I would say.
Where do you put that? Where do you place that? If there's nothing like that.
Okay, what I'm going to say is, there are some sectors, actually, like CBN, that has, let me say, they put a red flag on real estate, oil and gas. I think there's one other one that banks don't, ideally, they are not, CBN has told you, deal at your own risk. That's why you notice, for those doing oil and gas, a lot of banks will tell you you need facility for oil and gas because of how volatile rates are on oil and gas businesses. The same applies to real estate. So many other reasons. So I am not aware of any. We don't have any like that. Although I have to explain, if I'm getting well, to build like I said, build like a plaza, and the bank builds the plaza, and getting well, and then you pay over time. I'm not aware of any. We don't have such products.
In your bank, you don't have such a product.
Remember that we don't have such products for now. So we have, we have our. Is there any other question or clarification?
Is there any other question before now?